Okay, this is a quick review of how to properly use the software. Once you sign into the system, you want to hit time clock right there. Now you'll see your name right here, and you'll see the last thing that you did was you clocked out. So last thing you did, the time clock clocked you out of your shift. If you're coming to work and you're starting your duty, this should say out, and the check mark should be in clock in. You don't do it, the system will automatically put the check mark there. So if that's what you see, your name, and it says last thing you did was clocked out, then you just hit the blue bar. You take a picture of your face, and that allows the client to know that you clocked yourself in, someone didn't clock in for you. Once you hit the blue bar, it automatically clocks you into the system. You hit OK, and then it goes back to the main screen. You click on Reports, then Activity Report, and Add New Report. That is the only time that you would hit Add New Report for activity during one shift. You're going to start an activity report, and all you do is you're adding to that report throughout the night. So the first thing you do is you pick the account you're working at. Beach Cove on this case. So you're working at Beach Cove. The report date usually is going to be accurate. So when you sign in, this should be the date where you're signing in. Let's say your shift times are 8 to 4. So 2000 to 4 a.m. Now the very first thing you're going to do, scroll down, hit Add New Duty. The date's right here, and it should be correct. You're going to put in the time. When you click it, it's going to give you the current time. Now, all you have to do is back that up and hit that time. You don't have to put an end time in because you're only saying that you're coming on duty. So put in the time you came on duty. You select your duty, and it will always be 10:41. You click that, and it comes right here. You scroll down, and there's a narrative section for notes right here. You can put in those notes. I talked to the assistant general manager, and he asked me to do this or that or the other. Or you may not have any information that you need to add to it. If you don't have to write a narrative on your 1041. Just hit Save Duty. You'll see it pops here, and then it will automatically go back to the report screen. Okay, so now you're back at the report screen, and now you're going to add another duty. Remember, do not touch these numbers. Once you put in your shift start and your shift end time, they should always stay the same. Other time blocks will appear, but they should be in the lower section. So if you add a new duty, you scroll down. Here's the start and end times you need to use. So you put in at 2010 you started something and you ended at 2035. Select duty. You patrolled the entire property and found no unusual activity. So you select that. You have your narrative section you can use. Now, clients do not like to see entry of patrol property, nothing to report, patrolled property, nothing to report over and over and over again. Because what will happen is they will soon realize they don't need you. And then we're left trying to find somewhere else to put you, and we have to hope that we can. So your reports go a long way in making sure the client feels like they're getting something for their money. And if you're just saying nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened, 1042, that means they don't need you. So it won't take long before you won't have a job at that property anyway. So write something when you can. And this is in no way telling you to make something up, but in an 8-hour period, if you walk around an entire property, you should hear, see, interact in some way, smell something. You might smell somebody that's doing a bonfire. You smell smoke in the area, but you don't see the fire anywhere nearby. You might have run into some residents who are walking their dogs, some people walking around, riding their bikes. Whatever you see, hear, or feel, write it in the narrative periodically so it has some content to the report. So you put your narrative here if you need to, and you hit Save New Duty. Goes back to your report screen. Here's your shift times again. Don't touch them. Go down, Add New Duty. Your date should be correct. Put in your time. Put in your end time. Now, the way I'm doing this start time won't be right, so I'm going to back this up to 40. So you select the duty. You will walk in the property, and you found a maintenance problem. So you select that right here. Patrolled the entire property and found the following maintenance issue. You pick that. You put in your narrative. Light out in third floor hallway, building 23. Or parking lot sprinkler broken in front of lobby. Or anything you had described what it was that the maintenance issue is. So you put your narrative in here, you save the new duty. Okay. You add a new duty. Date's correct. You scroll down for your times. You don't put them up here, remember. Go down here. Now, something about your activity times. You don't want to be putting in there that you're patrolling every hour on the hour. So there shouldn't be a 1 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock, a 4 o'clock entry, or even 105, 103, 208. It shouldn't be like that, because if you are patrolling on the hour every hour, or any given pattern, you're giving the criminals the opportunity to figure out what you're doing and to get a pattern on you. So you never do things in a pattern. So if you do a patrol of the property and you go and you check the laundry area and then you walk away, sometimes turn around, go right back to the laundry area to see if anybody's broken in because they thought you were going to be gone for a while. Or if you're in a parking garage and you check the parking garage and you walk out of it, go to the lobby, turn around, go right back. Because somebody who wants to break into cars, if they see that you just checked the garage, they're thinking you probably won't be back for a while. So then they go to work. But if you turn around and go right back up in there, you may catch them. Or they won't know what to do, and they'll go find another property where security is not that mindful. Okay, so you put in your times, you select your duty, and EMS was on property because a lady in room 212 cut her foot on a broken piece of glass in a room. So you indicate what happened in the narrative, and then you hit Save Duty. Now, during your shift, you have a bar here that's observations, and you have another one for points of contact. Now, with the points of contact, with what we just entered about EMS on property, you would click that and hit ambulance and paramedics. You come down here and you notified the manager on duty, so you talk to them. And during your shift, a field supervisor came by and checked on you. So you click those things. This is not, you don't click them per entry. You click these things off for the entire shift. So if any of these things happen during your shift, then you would click them off. If you make a mistake and you click that one and you didn't mean to, just click it again, it goes away. Then you scroll all the way to the bottom and you hit continue. So you can see 3 things were selected. Now, 2 or 3 hours later, something else happens. Just click it again. fire department showed up. Hit continue. Now it shows 4 things. Now the observations is for a different thing, but it is also something you check off for the entirety of your shift, not just each entry, for the whole shift. So if you click there, you found doors that were unlocked, there were lights out, you recorded a maintenance issue, and there was some property damage during your shift. Now, if you scroll to the very bottom, you're going to see the last several things start with WWV. These are specific for Waterway Village officers. If you're not working Waterway Village, you would never use these, and they're the last several on the list. If you are working Waterway Village, then you have to use them on every single shift. This is your safety checklist. So you've got each section that you have to check. You have good and you have bad. You got a problem. You got good, you got a problem. So if everything's good, you would check charged, good, 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 and good. You have to do that. So if there's a problem, you would check this one, and then you would indicate what the problem was. Otherwise, you check those off to show that you have checked them and they were in good working order. And that's only if you're working Waterway Village. So you've got these things. You come to the bottom, you hit continue. Now you got 4 things checked off. Again, later on in the shift, something else happens. You hit it again. You found a broken sprinkler. Hit continue. Now it's 5 things. So you can do those as they happen so that you don't forget them, or you can do them near the end of your shift, but you have to remember that all those things happened. So you've checked those off. You don't have to hit save or anything yet, and you've got all your entries down here. Now here's where the date can get messed up. You add a new duty, and say you started your new duty at 11:45, and you ended the duty, whatever you were doing, at 35 minutes after midnight. When you enter this, you're actually going to be entering it when you're finished at 35 minutes after midnight. So when you go to add the duty, the date is going to come up as 10:28. It's going to come up at that exact date, which is going to be after midnight on the following day. But you started the activity before midnight happened. So what will happen is if you don't change this date and the activity rolled across the date, then what it's going to do is it's going to put your report out of sync. It's going to show this is the very last thing you did. It's going to show this after you clocked out, or when you went 10:42. It'll come up after that. So what you do is if it rolled across the date, then you go back to this date bar and you select the date when you started the event, not when you ended the event. Once you do that, you do your narrative. You pick your duty, of course. You can do evictions, what have you. Put your narrative, hit save new duty. So here's your shift times again. Remember, don't touch those. All right, we're going to go all the way up to your 10:42. You go in here and you're off duty. So 4 o'clock, select duty, 10:42. You can put notes, whatever you need to put or not put. But once you're done, you hit save duty. It's going to go right back to the screen. Now, you are done for the night, and you want to make sure your report's in good order before you send it. That's where you're working. That's good. The report date will show up as the date it is when you're getting ready to go off duty, so that's fine. Make sure your shift start and end times are correct. Make sure you add any of these that you need to add, points of contacts or observations. And this is where you can check to make sure your report's correct. The very first thing that you should have in here is 1041, which, here you go. Here's the date, here's the time, 1041. So that's correct. If anything else other than 1041 is in this block, something's wrong, and it probably has to do with your date. So you just have to check these to find out where the problem is. But 1041 should be your first entry, and then you have the things that you did during the shift. It shows your maintenance thing, EMS on property, eviction, and then the very last entry you got, 4 a.m., 1042. Okay, this is what happens if I don't change the date when whatever you're doing rolls across midnight. You'll see here in your report, scroll down, your 1042. But then here's another entry, and it's showing that at 11:45 on this day you did an eviction, which obviously that's wrong. Like I said, 1042 should be your last entry where something went wrong. In this case, it's the date. So you just click it, it opens it up to edit it. You go up here, you change the date to what it was supposed to be, you hit save. Now, if you look at it, it's in the right place. And then the last thing is 1042. So now that you know that your report is in order, you save it, and it's ready for you to submit. Now, say, for instance, you went in and you had a maintenance problem that you were reporting directly to maintenance. You'd hit maintenance, add new report. You have to select the property again. You click what the issue was. So you had a broken sprinkler, you had damage to property, for instance. You scroll all the way down, you hit continue. You click off who you're letting know about this, maintenance and the property manager. You pick the urgency of the problem. Generally it's going to be medium to low, but if you have something like a water leak or something that can cause a lot of damage, you would pick high, and you would probably try to call someone who's in charge to let them know what's going on. Whatever it is that you're recording that it was a maintenance problem, write it in here of what the problem is, and you have to be very specific as to where it's located. Otherwise, they might not know. So you write it up in the narrative as where it's located, and if you want to, you can add a photograph of the problem. So you click the little thing down here, hit add attachment, take photo. You take a photo of whatever the problem is. You hit OK. And then you can see that there's your attachment to the report. So once this is done, you hit back. And here's your maintenance report that you just wrote. So you go to the top, you hit save. So now let's say you did the maintenance report earlier in your shift, and now you're done for the night. What you're going to wind up seeing is any reports that you saved. So you're going to have your activity report, and you should only have one of those. If you have more than one activity report, you messed up and you started a new one when you shouldn't have. So you should have one activity report and however many maintenance reports you recorded. If everything's good to go, you hit submit. And here's your activity report. You hit submit. So now there's nothing there. Everything's gone. You hit back. Go to the main menu. And the last thing you do is hit time clock. The last thing you did was you clocked in. So clock out is already checked. You hit the blue bar. You take the picture of your face that you're clocking out. And it automatically clocks you out of the system. Now, the very last thing you do with the phone, you hit that blue bar and you hit log out. And that's it.